Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here and welcome back to another episode of Glory Hunter. If you didn't check out last episode, you do not know how the Milan job came about, but we are of course in charge with AC Milan here in Season 4 of Glory Hunter, which means this is our third team in 4 years in the challenge. Since we last met, I haven't really done too much in terms of looking at signings or anything, but I have gone through the squad. Today's episode is going to be us trying to manoeuvre this $9 million transfer budget, which is absolutely piddles, and I can see why Milan had a pretty poor year last year. First, we want to have a look at the projection. We are projected to make money long term and get a heap of more transfer budget as things go along. We are predicted to get at least 17 mil next year as a budget as well, so do keep that in mind. In terms of revenue, we are getting quite a bit from our training kit and stuff as well, which is fine as well. Debts and loans, not much going on there. We're meant to make a lot of income this year as well. With that being said, let's go through the squad and have a look how we've set up. I've sent a few players back to the divisions below as well. The most notable will be Sebastiano Zamboni was here. There's a few other players that are not bad. If you have a look at under 20s, guys that have got this sort of potential could be decent to leading, like Kevin, who I did swear when I saw him because I didn't expect him to be that good. I think guys like this are worth their weight in gold, personally. Under 18 wise, you got Rocco, who's probably a touch too young. You got Luciano, who is probably a touch too young. Ricardo as a midfielder is not bad either. So you've got some decent talent. Don't get me wrong. There's some people coming through. I think this Christian Pezzi guy could be someone that could be decent as well. But Sebastiano, even though he's a winger, someone that we could look at as well. But let's talk about the actual main squad, because that's what you're here for. You can see straight away, I've gone through the squad, and I don't think they have 11 players on the bench to rotate in and out of. And I think if you are, and I do it with every squad I do, you would have seen me do it with Bettis. I think if you are a very good side and you're targeting to win on multiple fronts, you need 11 players to switch in and out whenever needed, right? Look at Man City in real life. Their second squad could nearly win the Premier League, right? Question is, will they win it this year? Arsenal, I think, will win it, but that's fine. We do have a podcast link down below. I do a podcast. But look, I just want to go through the squad itself, talk about it, because, look, I think that starting 11 is a really good starting 11 and really, really well class, and some of these values are mental. So Manigan, I think, is one of the best keepers in world football. He's obviously would rather be a sweeper keeper and support, which, look, the fact to get him up to that, star rating, I'm actually going to put him on sweeper keeper and attack and be brave. Okay, I'm going to be really brave. I'm also going to go and put 2 ball-playing defenders on defend as well. Now, I don't need to do this. I've got a big theory that ball-playing defenders are pretty horrid, but with us being this good, I'm going to do that because I think we're really good. Now, I've decided to put Calabria at right back. Don't get me wrong, I think he's fantastic. I think that this guy needs to be the guy. I know that Freestyle he's leading. I think this guy needs to be the guy that is your backup player. I think if he's coming off your bench as the backup right back, you've got a really good squad. You've got a squad that's going to win everything, right? So I think that's the goal if we can find one. Now, Kalu's wanted at the minute by Manchester United. Kalu is outrageous. And there is a world where I sign a centre-back and I move him to the complete wing-back on attack because he's a different level of gravy there, Pierre Kalu. He's fantastic at 25 years of age. 6 foot, can play ball-playing defender because he's a natural passing and a player that can play out. He's so naturally quick. I'm tempted to play him at right back if we find the right player. Tomori's a goat. Tomori we know is fantastic. He doesn't need to play ball-playing defender to be fair. I'm going to go 1 ball-playing, 1 centre-back on defend. I think Tomori lacks that ability to pass out. But as a ball-playing, as a centre-back on defend, the big 3, physical, mentally aggressive, I think he's fantastic. Manigan in behind, and then Fernandez is their best player. I've got him as a complete wing-back on attack. You can play him on support. I think he's world-class. He's probably the best left-back in FM. I think this guy in this system is going to absolutely love us playing like this. Big shout out to my mate Lewis, who loves him. He's an AC Milan fan. He's going to be happy when I message him that I'm currently in charge of them. Now, Ismaili Bentancur. Now, he's fantastic at what you want him to do. Loves a big game, sits in the hole. We play with a deep line playmaker and defender, William Carvalho. He beats William Carvalho. First touch, passing, tackling, positioning, teamwork, vision. He's just elite, right? He's perfect. He's 27. He's in his prime. 90 to 113 million. Same with Kalu. He's got 188 million. They don't have any release fees, I do not think either. So I'm not going to bother on selling him. Tonali in the box-to-box. Wanted at the minute. Not selling. 257 million. You need to give me about 300 to 400 million for me to sell Tonali, to be fair. Look, prefers to pay deeper line playmaker, which I can understand, but as a box-to-box, this guy's different gravy, right? you know, gets up and down, can finish if he wants to, can hit a long shot, got decent composure. Only thing he lacks is probably some finishing ability. Up and down with engine. He's only 25. What more needs to be said about Sandro Tonali? I think he's going to be fantastic as well. Now, Charles de Ketelaere, he's a Belgium international. They reckon he can play up front, which I think he could. I reckon they can play in the hole, which I think he can. But I think this guy in that advanced playmaker and attack role where Diaz played, different level of gravy. 6'4", getting in the box late, big headers, beautiful. Passing, teamwork, vision, technique, first touch, dribbling, going at people, absolutely elite as well. And if you have a look at him, he had an okay year last year, and I think he's going to be superb for us. Now, Giovanni Rano, I'm keeping. And the main reason is I know what this guy's capable of. I think he's fantastic. I don't want to get rid of him. He's a current international. I've used him on FM to very good effect. At 22 years of age, you get him in, you get him playing well in a good side. This guy is going to be the guy that is going to be fantastic. Now, in saying that, if he's your guy off the bench, you're very happy if Giovanni Reyna is the one off the bench. But at the moment, I think he starts, and I think he's good enough to start. But like David Calabria, if you could find a right back and a centre attacking mid, you're in unreal territory. Then you got Victor Ruque. He's a wonder kid and a half. They signed him for 18.75 million. He's fantastic. Advanced forward, pressing forward, same sort of thing. He's got great ability to finish, great first touch. I think a pressing forward needs to dribble as well. I could go advanced forward. It's here nor there for me, which way I go. He's got great anticipation, composure, decisions off the ball, and he's physically just superb, 5'8". Then in the complete forward role, Rafael Leao, I could put him as an advanced forward. Not going to lie with the pace he has as well. But as a complete forward on support, he does everything. Dribble, finishing, first touch, passing, technique, vision, off the ball, composure, physically a monster as well. 6'2". I think this guy, in that role where he drops in deep, he picks it up in between the half lines, creates something with the passing and the vision, and has the ability to get in behind as well. I think we're in absolute dreamland. I do think there's a world where we go pressing forward and advanced forward as well because they're just so good. But that is the starting 11. If I was to make a signing, I still think that starting 11 is world class. But I know it's going to be hard because we don't have the money, but I think if I could find a right back and a centre back, or right back, sorry, and a centre attacking mid, you want unstoppable. In terms of the bench, backup keeper, Bayer, by the way, he looks decent. He's a good Serie A player. Worth 2.1 to 4.5 mil. I'm tempted to sell him, to be fair, or use him as a backup centre back. But this is where the problem is. I don't have a backup centre back. The Everton fella, Markolenko. He's a good backup left back. I have no issues with him, to be fair. Odeneka can play centre back. I think he's more of a ball-winning midfielder in defensive mid. He's a very good player who's very much on the cusp of maybe getting in to this team. But, as a backup player, he's perfect. If he's your backup player, Odeneka, you're happy. Salvatore Esposito, by the way, very good at what he does too. He is a very good box-to-box midfielder. Up and down, back and front, 24 years of age, very good, born in the year 2000, good to leading potential, homegrown in terms of being at the Serie A, in terms of being Italian. I think he's fine. Yet again, most notably Gabs. And then you got Kevin Cuqui and Luciano, who, don't get me wrong, I think both of them are fantastic. I think both of them are wonder kids for the future. I think that Kevin Cuqui is a lot better than what the game's telling them that he is, because with the off the ball and the finishing and etc., I think he's great. And he's naturally determined and he's only 18. If those are your front two, you're probably in a position where you're like, you kind of need a striker too because this is too good of a team. But it is what it is. So the key takeaways of the 9-minute spiel is we have a very good starting 11. There's a couple areas I would love to improve on. The bench is horrid because you just don't have enough depth. I feel like if we could somehow sell a few of these lads down here, which are like Simon Kadja to get some wage off, even though he's okay, we could keep him around as a backup centre-back to be fair, but he's got no pace. Mateus Cunha could be sellable, and I think he is, right? You got Rebic, who's leaving on a free, which is great. You got Stoli, who, don't get me wrong, I think this guy's fantastic, but if we could get 6-7 mil for him, for the Italian who's been capped once, it's fine. And you got this guy here who's worth 1.3 mil. There's not much money to bring into this team. I really needed the board to give me an extra 20 to 30 mil, but I don't want to particularly ask for it. With that being said, leaves you in a position where it's like, any of these guys sellable. For 200 to 300 million, I think it is. Lastly, we get 100% of the revenue, so whatever we sell, we can do with. I think we're in a position where we need to go out here and sign a couple of players. And I think we will. But with that being said, I'll be back in a second. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go and try and make some sales. We've only got 9 mil to spend. We've got plenty of wage. Maybe we could sell on a couple of these clauses as well and see how much money we can rise. Welcome back in YouTube. It's the 4th of August 2025 in-game. It's actually my date of birth is the 4th of August, so happy birthday me in-game. But we're here because we've made a big sale, and I didn't want to make a big sale, not this player particularly. Now, in terms of the squad, we have signed a couple of players. The money's not bad. We've got raised over 28 mil, so I'm going to recap that first. What have we done, and then we'll talk about the big sale. So on the out, since we've come in, right, if we go in order, we've sold Catcher for 500k, Thiago Almeida, who was in our under 23s to Brentford for 2 mil. Stottil got a bit of a bidding war and then ended up selling him to Monaco for 12 mil rather than the 14. Julian Vicaro, who would have been our backup, is now going to be the backup at Juve. He was only worth like 8 mil here. We managed to get a fair bit out of him. But I mean, worth 8 mil. We got 8.5, 9 mil. Was worth about 4. He's now worth 50 somehow. Don't understand why. Chaka Tiore, another one in the under 20s. With some value, managed to get 4 and a bit mil as well. So a bit of money coming in, 28 mil worth, and puts us in a position. We've made 2 signings. Bit of an interesting one. Luis Alberto was released on a free. I'm a big believer that the Italian league's a lot slower than the other leagues. When you get a guy who's this good and you can take away from him using his physicals, he's superb. He's got finishing, he's got first touch, he's got passing, he's got mentals, he's fantastic. There's a world where he plays shadow striker, like, don't get me wrong, with the finishing ability and telling him to get up and down. I think that's fine too, but as a backup player on 55k a week wage, which is cheap here, I think it was a no-brainer. We definitely needed a backup centre-back. The board wants us to sign under 23 players for the first team, and this fits the bill. As you can see here, this is Jacobo Mirabili, and Jacobo's come from Atlanta. He's 18 years of age. He's a current under 21 international with Italy, so he's homegrown. 16 natural tackling at a young age, fairly rounded physical, 6 foot, dual-footed, and okay mentals. Probably not really good right now, but he's going to be good in the future. And I do think him bleeding into the first team is going to be pretty good as a further 4th choice centre-back. It'd be more 4th choice because I'm going to look to get someone in a little bit better. Please note he's already a leading Serie B player at 18. He's only going to get better from here. Now, let's talk about the dynamics and the management and everything. We have some upset players, and it's, Giovanni Reyna's been on international duty. He's been fantastic. Wants to join as they offer more important place in the squad. I didn't know that this was a thing. Can I discuss contract with the agent? Because he's very unhappy. Okay, I didn't know that this happened. This must have happened while I was having my shower. But apparently one of our youngsters in Kevin Kukui, who I think is going to be fantastic. Is definitely going to stick around here for a bit. Giovanni Reyna wants to be a more important player. I've already stated that I think as an attacking midfielder on attack, I think he's fantastic. As a shadow striker in the hole, I think he's pretty fantastic too, and I've used him in that role in FM, and he's pretty good in that role. But the big one here is Charles, and look, Charles is world class. I love him. He's a big boy, 6'4", getting him up and down. Could play shadow striker, could play back of line. Very tempted to play him at shadow striker and actually play Giovanni Reyna back of line because of the height of him getting into the box. He came to me and said, I want to leave to join PSG because they offered 40 mil, and I said, well, mate, you're worth about 90 to 100, so no. 12 players, ladies and gentlemen, 12 players are concerned with supporting a teammate. 12. And not just anyone. Theo Hernandez, who's the most important guy in the club, is leading that. I did a team meeting, said, look, we're going to be a lot worse off without him. And they basically said, screw you, we want him gone. And because if I was 3 years into the job and I had really good managerial support, I would say, yeah, not happening. He's staying. But I am 4 weeks, 5 weeks into the job. I have no real backing at all. So to sell him makes everybody happy. It gives me some money into the club that I can use. And the transfer fee is not too bad because guess what? He's on his way to Bayern Munich for 52 mil up front. Now, look, don't get me wrong. 24 years of age is only going to get better. Should he have gone for more money? Yeah, but I was getting bids of 30 to 40 mil because he was upset. PSG, the most I ever went to was 44 mil. The biggest that we got in period was Napoli, got the 50, and then they made it 51. Only one of the big teams in Bayern with the team that came in. So 6 mil of that's going there. We get 43 mil into our budget. I hate doing that, but there we go. Squad unhappy with depth. This is the issue. All right. We need it now. I'll be looking to get into that. Perfect. There we go. So now they want me to sign an attacking midfielder. I'm definitely going to be. In terms of who I'm going to sign an attacking mid, let's just break that down. First things first, I have a look at Arsene Zakarian. I could afford him if I really wanted to, but it's all the money at the football club. There's other fires to put out. 68 mil is a lot of money. I would love to because I think he's borderline leading player for this division. And look, he could become world class. I think he's great. I think he's a superb player to be picking up, and I think everybody would be pretty happy with that, and he's a shadow striker. 68 mil is tempting. Second player we are looking at, don't get me wrong, is Diaz as well, Brahimi Diaz. 48 mil is more flammable because it gives me more money. In saying that, though, I do think that he's a player that is good, but he's only going to be this good. But don't get me wrong, that's fine as well. There's a couple other players, and there's one that I really want to show out here, is a guy from Porto, and that's Juan Camilio Aris, and he won Next Gen last year. You can see why. PTM on loan, had an okay loan in the division. If you have a look at him as a shadow striker, you're kind of licking your lips, right? They do want 41 mil. I just think at 18 years of age, he comes in, he becomes homegrown. Because he becomes homegrown in the Champions League, it's really nice. And to get a player like this in now, making part of your favourite personnel, if I move to PSG or anything, you just snap him back up later down the line. As a player, 15 finishing, 15 first touch, 15 technique, 15 off the ball, 16 vision, 19 flair, good agility and balance and natural fitness. He's also got a few other good stats. I think that this guy is someone for the future. I think this guy, leading Serie B, yeah, but by the end of the season, he's going to be a good leading Serie A footballer. Just, it's 41 mil. Is it worth spending the money on 41 mil? It may or may not be. And then it leads you to, well, what else do you do? Do you go after some cheaper players? Do you try and maybe get some more reputable players in to make the squad happy? So it leaves you in this weird position. It is what it is. I'm currently scouting a lot of talent, a lot of younger talent. Adria could be quite the pickup in the attacking midfielder role. Very good technicals, very good mentals, no real physical. But yet again, this kid's that good at what he does that you're probably training to be an advanced playmaker and attack, and you move him back a line and go, yeah, you're great. And Luis Alberto's a backup 10. And I'm kind of leaning that way because for 11 to 13 mil, I think he's just an easy snap up at 5'10". As well, and he has a very good scout report, let's be honest, and he's going to just get better and better and better and better and better. So with that being said, I'm happy with that, and he's on cheap wage. So yeah, there's a bit to go. In terms of the squad, this is how it looks. We have no attacking midfielder as it stands. I actually think Giovanni Wayner goes in there, right, and for my next friendly, Luis Alberto will go into there, for instance. But if I was to pick it how I would be picking it, right, and to be fair, if I could find two, I would, and then use Rayner off the bench and just use him off every game so he becomes happy. Yeah, I need another backup centre-back. Right? An attacking midfielder and a shadow striker. And I've got... Look, don't get me wrong, I've got 71 mil to spend. I've got 261k in the wage balance. If I wanted to max it out, I could. And if I wanted to go that way, I could do that as well. Be interesting to see what we can do. Lastly, what we are going to do before I go away is suggested transfers. I'm going to have a look at that, and I'm going to have a look as an advanced playmaker and attack and suggest. And they straight away want me to go after Yuri Tielemans, Mateo Nunes, or Gearson. We're going to have a look at all of them. Don't get me wrong, I think they're fantastic players, right? But I think that they are too much money. And look, I really think you can get Yuri Tielemans for cheaper than that in FM a lot of the times. Maybe he's happy to stick there. Right, and then if you go to Director of Football and you go to Suggested Transfers and you go attacking midfielder and you prefer... Look, I'm going to go all roles, but I wouldn't mind seeing if someone else wants to come in there. Yet again, Mateus Cunha at 115 mil. I don't have the money. He's unhappy if he gets transfer listed, sure, because as a shadow striker in the hole, this guy's elite. Right? Claudinho at Zenit. Don't get me wrong, another decent player at 28 years of age... But I don't think he sets the world alight and he's more of a backup player. I need someone that's going to come in and really be really good, right? And then they want me to go after Danny Olmo at Leipzig, and this is one that I probably would do because as a shadow striker, he's great, but I would play him back a line. I would say to him, mate, you are, as in terms of an advanced playmaker and attack and creatively, you are unreal. And like Danny Olmo, someone that fits the bill really well. 27 in his prime, comes in and would be quite the footballer. We might be able to get him for 28 to 43 mil. So I'm thinking at the moment, we're going to go after Grulla. We're probably going to try and go after Danny Olmo, and that leaves me needing a 10 and a centre-back, possibly 2. Interesting times here at AC Milan. I'll see you guys with some more signings in the second. Welcome back in YouTube. We have finished our business and we have our man Danny Olmo as a last piece of the jigsaw puzzle here at Milan to replace Charles, who we sold. I will say that I really wanted to get Arsene Zakarian in just to continue the story because I love him and I think he's going to be outrageously good. The stupid, you can only sign 2 foreign players outside the EU rule in Italy rears its head again. Because I think it's about, like, in real life, I honestly think it's about how many can be registered and not how many you can sign. But look, that's for that. And they count Adra Grula, even though he's Turkish, as non-European, which is fair enough. It is what it is. And then they count, obviously, Russia being non-European as well, because it is what it is. Take it, run with it. It is however you got to take it. Tamori is obviously non-European. Adenaka's non-European. Victor Roque is non-European. So, yeah, look, I would love to have gone down the Arsene Zakarian route, but it isn't we can't do what we can't do. So there we are. We've also made another signing as well to go at the back, and I'm just going to show you these guys as they officially come in. And then we're going to end the episode, and next time you see us will be for the opening day against Roma. Send him on an intensive language course. Tonali now drops the lack of squad depth, which is great. We're going to register him in, is Danny Olmo as well. We're going to go to 17 squad, which is a tiny bit small, but that's fine. Rafael Leo is predicted to go be top goal scorer. I've gone to an advanced forward just to use his best ability. Like, I've played with an advanced forward, and this guy is just elite. Don't get me wrong, I think complete forward does work very well, and I would actually move back to a complete forward and then go with an advanced forward instead of the pressing forward. But yeah, Victor Roque is not that guy. Get him in 2 roles that they know what there's best, and that's that. First things first, in he goes, bang, Danny Olmo in there. Secondly, that is correct. We signed Kalidou Koulibaly for 4.2 mil from Chelsea. Reason why it was 4.2 mil was listed for 2.3. But my scout saying he wanted 200k a week, and I was like, I'm not paying that. So I gave Chelsea 4.2 mil for them to pay me 150 grand a week, and he turned around and said, I only want 22k wage. Oh, okay. Now that might be factoring the fact that Chelsea are paying 150. If that's the case, that is what it is. He wanted to come and only be a first-choice centre-back. I had the argument with saying, mate, you're 34, you're being rotation. So we're just going to look to bring him on as often as possible in games. And secondly, I like it because we signed a young centre-back, an future Italian international, and Jacopo Mirabali. I think Mirabelli, yeah, both ways probably work. Don't get me wrong, I think the guy's going to be sensational, but I think he needs that experience alongside him. So without further ado, this is your squad. I actually think Danny Olmo is probably best back line, but as a shadow striker, if he had a bit more pace, then maybe, where's Giovanni Reyna's pace like? I might put Giovanni back in the hole, I think, and I'm going to put Danny Olmo back a line. Now, main reason for that is I think Danny Olmo is very good on the ball as an advanced playmaker in attack. He's going to make the game tick over. He's fantastic, and so be it. So, your team looks like this on paper as picked in its best formation, in its best way. Now that Manigan wants to be just free star, put him back to sweeper, keeper, and defend. But Manigan, who's one of the best keepers in FM. Calabria keeps his spot at right wing back, so be it. Just the lack of funds, obviously, here. Kalu, Tomori, and Hernandez, all 3 of those guys are elite with Manigan, so that's fine. Ismail Benakura is fantastic for the level. Tonali is Tonali. Danny Olmo is elite as well. Giovanni Reyna I've used on FM, and I think he's fantastic, so he's going to be my 10. And Victor Roque with Rafael Leo up top, 2 speed demons that know what they're doing. I could play 2 complete forwards. I could play 2 advanced forwards, is what I'm saying. As a complete forward on a support, he's not the worst. Drops in and out, passes. Rafael Leo fits complete forward on support. Look, I don't want to particularly change the system, but I think we need to go an advanced forward with the amount of pace they have. So I've gone advanced forward, pressing forward to start with. We'll see how it goes. because next episode is Roma. Your bench is there. You obviously got a pretty decent bench. Koulibaly's great. Odenanka's great. Sebastian Esposito, I think, is really good. Adra Gurula's going to be, I reckon by the end of the year, the big thing's going to happen is Dani Olmo's going to be in the 10 and Gurula's going to be at right attacking mid there, or left attacking mid, sorry, in the advanced playmaker role because he's that good. Luis Alberto, I think, even though it's on a free, it's easy to snap up. Experience in the league, technically gifted, and then QP and Luca Amico. Look, don't get me wrong, I think we need to sign better. But with the funds that we have, am I really going to? Not really. Complete forward comes in here with Adra Gurula coming in as that complete forward that can just drop in and out, which is fine. Leaves me 23 mil in the balance, but not much wage. So if I do that, it's a little bit more wage. Think that money is going to be spent on either A, finding a striker. Like if we had Mose Kean available, which we don't because we picked him up, I would go after Mose Kean, for instance. But if we get someone of that mould, expect them to come in because I think that's something we can do. Or we'll just kind of hope that we don't get an injury up top and we can develop these strikers. With this money as well, I'll probably look to bring in a couple more under 23 players as well because they're fit the system here, and then it'll allow us to sell players on for a profit if we decide to sell them down the track. But with that being said, that is your squad. The game reckons that our team is going to finish third this year. Olmo gets into the starting 11 with Tonali, Kalou, Tamari, and Hernandez, which is fantastic. And if you have a look, this is how they reckon we're going to line up. They reckon it's Theo, Koulibaly, Tamari, and Kalou, which could be an option to be fair, as well, and drop David Calabria, but I think David Calabria deserves a start. Ismail Benacour, Tonali, Luis Alberto, and Dani Olmo. Interesting. Could go that way too. If I was to, Alberto in the hole, Olmo out to left wing back, to left attacking mid yet again, because Luis Alberto much loves a finish. And then Victor Roque and Rafael Leo. So, look, very similar. I still think this guy is a guy that just needs to play in the hole and just do what he needs to do. But as a shadow striker, don't get me wrong, he's fantastic. And he's very cultured. And if he has a very good start to the season, then yeah, look, he might get in the team too. But if we're speaking like that, it means that we have a very well-balanced side. We've got 11 guys to replace 11 positions, even though a couple of them are probably a bit young and maybe a bit raw. But look, we've got a team, we've got a system, and we'll find out how we go against Roma on the opening day of the Italian Serie A season. Till next time, I'll see you guys then. Thank you very much for checking out the episode. Give it a like, do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Who would you have signed? Would you have gone after maybe some different players? Yes, I tried to go after a few guys from Roa, Hepis or Betis. Wasn't allowed to. They kept signing to new deals, the younger kids. So with that being said, we're going to see what we can do. What is a successful year? We'll find out. Till next time, thank you and goodbye.